Either drink or you good.
Well, it'll be more interesting if I'm drinking while we're doing it.
My man.
What's up, brother?
Well, thank you for coming to hang out. We appreciate you. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Wow.
23. So at the time I had 3. And we're like, nope, I get it. And now I'm seeing it like, we have a lot of people what it feels like, but dude, once we're going, like boys, doesn't it feel like even though we have a lot of people, we're fucking always understaffed on shit? Yeah. Like there's just projects from, well, we teach, right? So every Tuesday there's like, as you can see, we do production. So we do multi-cams, so there's people to manage that. And then there's content, just shorting up micro content for fucking Instagram and YouTube. And then there's interviews, and then hey, chopping it up. Then there was an event, so they're chopping it up. Then there's the daily series or the weekly series behind the genius.
How is all that sustainable for clients?
This is for us. This is just.
I even know what your model like. How you?
Oh yeah. So I'll give you this short. Done agency for like 4 years. So that's where I learned everything.
Yeah.
And delivering results. And then after that, the last like year and a half, we've really been focused on education and building like the school, kind of alternative. You know? So the short, 2 models, 2,500 members, paying $109 a month. 500 600 people, paying $5 grand every 6 months for our high level shit.
Yeah.
That's it. For the membership site, weekly training, live with me. I bring in a guest once a month, and that's really the focus. Yeah. So we kind of do that and just create content, man. That's like the only thing that separates us right now. It's just fucking what's in the market, and no one wants to do video, so I'm just fucking quadrupling down on it. And while it's not that competitive, just buying as much as possible.
That's awesome. So I didn't realize Gary had 23 people on Team Gary. That's nuts.
Just nuts. And after that, it was like I get how he's using it. That's why he's fucking everywhere all of the time, because he's just got people making memes. He's just got people. He's got fucking people, dude.
Hey, buddy. What's up? It's great to see you. Great to meet you.
Either drink or you good.
Well, it'll be more interesting if I'm drinking while we're doing this.
Can I do a Jack and Coke too?
Red wine if you've got it.
Red wine?
Yeah.
If we don't have it,
We got red wine.
A vodka
Okay.
tonic.
Cat's cool?
Yeah.
vodka tonic substitute. So we'll go like 20 minutes, and we'll
Perfect.
do kind of high level. I'll go to your store really quick. Who the hell are you, man? Really quick. You and Brian are not related.
No, not at all.
You have to get that all the time, though.
So I go by my full name, Ryan Daniel Moran.
Okay.
Partially because I was really tired of getting confused with Brian Moran. Well, what's great now? What's great now?
You guys know each other?
Oh yeah. But it always used to be. I have a great story for you. But it used to be that people always thought I was him, and now he's getting it, and so I feel vindicated. But I got off stage at an event. It was like 3,000 people.
Yeah.
And when I got off stage, my brother called. And my brother very rarely calls me, and there was something going on at home. So I picked up the phone, and I'm going for a walk around the conference, and I look out of the corner of my eye, and there's this guy following me. Like I'm walking around the conference, and he's following me. I'm on the phone with my brother. I don't want to be bothered. It's very clear I don't want to be bothered, and he's literally following me around. So I see him, and I stand where I am talking to my brother for like 10 minutes, a really deep conversation, and the guy literally waits, staring at me. So I decide to book it to the other side of the hotel.
So now you're sprinting away.
And so now I'm walking real fast on the phone, and the guy freaking follows me. And I kid you not, 10 feet from me, never broke vision. and he's following me all the way. I must have walked 5 minutes
So it was
in the other
like
direction.
You're stalking me right now.
Yeah, and I came all the way back. He stayed with me. Finally, I hung up the phone. I'm like, "What do you want?"
I have your wallet.
And he turns to me and says, "Brian, I love your Get 10,000 Fans course." It's like, that is Brian Moran. Never talk to me again.
That's pretty fucking funny though. Well, that's clarity, because I saw that and I was like, I never knew for the longest time, and I was like, okay, well.
Well, no
Well, you
relation.
both got great shit, huh?
Thanks.
All right, so which camera, Paul? Double.
Yeah.
You both recording? You good?
Well, I need this mic on.
My mic is not on. Is that what you said?
You want to put this in the middle, Paul? Let's get some questions.
Thanks. Any topics off limits? Can we talk politics and religion?
Bro.
Can we curse?
Let me tell
Can
you.
we?
Please do.
If
If you've ever been interviewed on anything, this is the most no limit fucking shit.
Okay.
Hey, we were talking about dick drawing earlier today.
Yeah,
On camera, we're talking about dick
Cody
drawings?
fucking the
On
clever
camera.
investor was here, and we
The timer went
fucking
out, he said, reroute that shit to a dick pic.
yeah. So we made an offer.
You know what?
bro? We
Sorry.
made an offer. It was 5-minute expiration this morning, and literally when it hit 5 minutes, I said, look. If you don't buy this right now, once this hits 5 minutes, you're gonna miss the opportunity, and this website's gonna redirect to a dick pic. So that's seven, and we
boy.
fucking did it. So, there's no limits here. You can go beyond.
all right,
that
got
scope,
it.
and it'll be all right, man.
So a psychic approached me after. Thanks, man. A psychic approached me after I spoke today,
Yeah.
and told me that I was going to be on primetime TV within the next 9 months.
Okay, give me the psychic's number.
And so now, are you?
That was a pound.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were interviewing me with an invisible.
American culture. This is not of a.
And bring up. I was on Chris. I bet it's if she's right. I bet it's the religious stuff that gets us on primetime.
Yeah.
That's that. I talk a lot about religion.
Like
lately.
anti?
So I went
Oh,
to.
let's save for camera. Let's
Okay. All right.
We're all recording.
Oh, we are recording? All right, we'll take something. So behind the scenes, if you guys just saw, that was just off-camera stuff. That was on camera, which we loved. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, you're here with Billie Jean Shaw III and Brian Moran from San. It's funny because if you guys have been in the industry,
First you
it's
put
fucking
me in the
confusing.
seat that Grant Cardone has said, and I'm not touching anything Grant Cardone has done, and then he called me Brian. It's disrespectful.
So we have Ryan Daniel Moran here, creator of Capitalism or owner of Capitalism.com.
I am he.
And dude, I've seen this guy. I mean, you guys know if somebody's in this motherfucking office, they're the real deal. They're great at what they do. And I personally,
for Grant. Go on.
Except for Grant, we hate Grant. But for me, I've objectively gotten to see his progression over the years, just from afar, just like you guys see other people in the industry. I've seen his stuff. I think I'm on the email list, and so from my understanding, because we don't have a ton of time today, I want to give you guys the background. Tell me if I'm right. So there was an eComm. It sounds like you were one of the. Oh yes, here we have a yes buzzer and a no, and that's bullshit.
This is how we'll determine
Okay,
if you're on the
so,
right track.
So fact number one, you really came up in the digital marketing game in the eComm world. Okay, so we're good with the yes there. And then from the eComm world, that kind of escalated into something. Okay, so what is that something? Oh, then you're kind of
great.
coaching people on
It was
eComm.
great.
No, here it was. Then you sold one of your eComm brands.
Two of them.
Two of them for a lot of money?
Yeah, enough.
Cool.
Yeah.
So built not only just like this is before everyone was talking about Amazon drop shipping and shit. Like you were in the game early, and then actually building up a brand and then selling it twice. And then I saw, and this is where it caught my attention, raised my eyebrows. I was like, well, what is this? How is this guy operating? Because then I saw that you're coaching people on how to build and sell. And then it became a much bigger play. And then I saw you do the conference about capitalism, and I was like, okay, where's this guy's head at? And I saw a switch of brand. So when I first saw him at Traffic Conversion Summit, the first thing I did is I waved him down. I was like, yo, man, I've been following your stuff. What the fuck are you doing? Because all I saw was eComm stuff and then this other stuff, and now I'm trying to figure out
What am I up to?
what's he up to?
What's the play here?
What's the play? So really fucking successful guy, smart ass like myself. And that's it, man. That's all we got. So I don't know what's about to happen. I just know the camera's rolling and we're doing the damn thing.
All right, so you want to know the play?
Yeah.
I'll tell you the play. All right. The money button. All right.
This is my favorite.
So-
You're missing this one.
I'm very aroused. So the play, like when I was a kid, all I ever dreamed of being was being the general manager of a baseball team.
Okay.
I was fascinated. Not well.
Okay.
No. I'm a uncoordinated white boy.
All right, fair enough, fair enough.
But
I'm pretty sure Brian Moran got his baseball.
I'm out of here. I wanted to be the wheeler and dealer.
Just to really fuck it up, he's coming here tomorrow morning.
I'm farting on this chair right now for Brian Moran. So I was fascinated by the business of baseball, but I went to college thinking I was going to be a pastor.
Okay.
So and we can go there. That's a fun. That's a fun story.
Were you raised like Catholic, Protestant?
I was raised in the Baptist church.
Okay.
Yeah, I was a very, very conservative part of the Baptist church.
White Baptist or Black Baptist?
I was
Black Baptist
totally white Baptist.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's different, bro.
That is yes, it's very different.
Different roles,
very, very different. So I realized at one point, I was not on the path to be a general manager, and I also realized that was one job. And you weren't in control of getting that job. So I realized if I was going to be the wheeler and dealer behind a baseball team, because I did not finish my ministry degree, I decided I wasn't sure what I believed.
Why? I don't want to skip past that. Because I think a lot of people are faced with this in their life when they start really making decisions for themselves. Mm-hmm. So here you are, you're kind of determined to go the pastor route, and then you pull out. That's not a small decision, especially if you come from a background that's really religious. I have to imagine you pissing people off.
I piss some people off now when I talk about it, but I didn't piss people off when I decided it wasn't going to go that route. I really wasn't sure that I believed what I was brought up to believe.
Wow.
And that was not me thumbing my nose at God. That was not me trying to be an obstinate Christian. That was me genuinely seeking and deciding that I did not believe what I was brought up to believe, which was a very, very painful process.
Okay.
And I'm actually filming a docu-series about it right now. It's called Losing My Religion, which is completely unrelated to capitalism.com and not part of the empire.
That's my style.
But you will see that in 2000. This is 2018, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. You'll see it start to be released this year. But anyway, I decided if I was gonna be a part of a baseball team, I had to buy the baseball team. I had to own the baseball team, and so I started building my empire. And I came up in the digital marketing world. I applied those skills to eComm. I've built an 8-figure business. I've sold a business for 8 figures. I now partner and mentor people who are on that path because that's my skill set right now. And I know that I can incubate those businesses from 0 to 8 figures and help them exit. And the more of those as possible, the bigger the empire gets. But what I have realized, first cup, and I'm probably more drunk than you. I grew up in the church. Wine's okay. So you're sinning. You're sinning, but I'm all good.
Grapes.
And what I've realized is that the best opportunities come from what we do, right? Of raising up the next generation of entrepreneurs. And I believe that capitalism is the solution to the world's problems. The opportunity came up to acquire capitalism.com, and that's why I made the pivot.
How much did that fucking cost?
It was a 6-figure acquisition.
Wow, that's huge.
For an empty domain name, yeah.
Wow. And that's just because you believe in what was...
Yeah, I studied economics in college. After I decided I wasn't going to be a pastor, during the 2008 presidential election, during the recession, and I was building my first business. Capitalism is the word that represents everything that I believe in. And look, we have arguments about politics all the time, about the president, about legislation. The only thing that matters is you taking control of your life. The government can't help you.
Nope.
The government has nothing. It can do nothing. It only has what it takes from citizens. It only has what it takes from productive people and productive businesses.
So let's get like some heated up shit here.
I see
your shirt says Democrat no, Republican no, entrepreneur yes. I fucks with that. But if I have to ask you as an entrepreneur, do you like Trump?
I do.
Why?
Yeah, so I'll go there, and it is...
This is good, because you got a black and white guy sitting here talking about Trump. That's good TV, baby!
It's also super not popular to say, I like Donald Trump.
Which I actually commend you for admitting that. Because everyone I know that likes Donald Trump, they'll do some shit like this. Do I like Donald Trump?
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? They won't...
So, now, I did not vote for the man. I voted for one of his opponents, but but he has won me over in a couple ways, and
All right.
I'll tell you why. First of all,
Was it
wow.
like the anti-women shit or anti-people shit? Or the grabbing by the pussy shit? Which one? He's got a lot of good shit.
So there's a couple of reasons.
All right.
One, I think the tax bill was a huge step in the right direction.
No one's mad at saving money. Fair enough.
And if you believe that is a tax cut for the rich, you do not. I don't think you understand how taxes work.
Okay.
The bill and the legislation was a huge step in the right direction. I think the dramatic reduction in regulations was a huge step in the right direction, and I think the Supreme Court nominee Neil Gorsuch was I don't think you could have picked a finer Supreme Court nominee. Those three things
Do you think he's racist?
Neil Gorsuch?
No, Donald.
I don't know, and I don't.
Do you think he is though?
I don't know.
Do you think? Do you think he is?
I don't know, and I don't care to speculate.
You have to care to speculate a little bit.
But I only care
that he gives you more tax dollars.
No, I only care about the results that come from the legislation that is released. I don't care to comment on people's beliefs because that is me speculating.
Okay, so I don't know where to speculate if Donald's racist. I don't know if it's speculation. I think motherfucker's racist, but you can still like it. I guess my question is this. I genuinely don't give a fuck about politics. I think I have a stance in view, except I think you go a little bit deeper. But for me specifically, when I tell you I don't care about politics, I don't watch the news, I don't vote. Sorry guys, none of the shit. Except for Barack. Shout out. Because I'm black. But
so to your point, and this is the other half of why I like Donald Trump, and we could analyze certain legislations or political decisions, but the other reason I like Donald Trump is because I think he ushers in an era where people realize that government can't help them. Because I think you have such pushback on the left against Donald Trump. You have to recognize that you cannot put your faith in government. You have to recognize that.
So here's what I'll say about the Donald thing. Ironically, there are some things that I do like about Donald. I like the fact that he really showed you. Do you guys remember, I don't remember this, a couple years ago, there was one of those roasting ceremonies, the political roasting ceremonies, and someone made a joke about Donald Trump becoming the next president. And for the entire first year of this man having the idea, it was the laughing stock of the fucking country. Everyone thought it was so ridiculous that they completely fucking clowned on him, etc. It was like the nuts thing I ever seen. And then all of a sudden, there was first seeing who was going to be the Republican nominee, and he got that. No one thought he was going to get that. And then everyone thought he was going to fucking get annihilated by Hillary, and then he still won. Does this sound familiar to any fucking entrepreneur out there who's on their journey? Nobody thought you would do it. Not your friends, not your family, not your anybody. And then he fucking does it. Because that's the power of belief in yourself. Like Donald or not, that's some fucking good shit. Agreeance?
Agreeance.
Now here's what's fucked up, like that word. Here's what's fucked up. Anybody who gets what they want by inspiring hate and dividing people is a fuckboy to me. And that's why Donald Trump will never have my respect. I don't give a fuck about any of the political shit, but someone who rallies hate, anger. I've never seen people so divided in like hatred, and him never to really speak on that and try and bring everyone together makes me fucking not like him as a person, because to me, that's cheap. Being really intelligent like he is, and then preying on, to me, the lowest of the lowest tiers and inspiring them to come over, disgusting.
Who are the lowest tiers?
The poorest and the most ignorant, is what I would say. So to me, if you take,
because no politician has ever marketed
not just him. I think it's all case, but it's with hate. That's the difference. It wasn't with inspiration. It was with hate. It was with anger. And that was fucked up to me.
Would you give me an example of that?
If you look at the entire course of his campaign, and you look at the rallies and the environments that were created at his rallies, every single person, "Make America Great Again," was fucking yelling out racial. Not every single person. I'm exaggerating, but there's multiple examples of the people there just yelling out fucking racial slurs and fucking sexist shit. And you saw the fights and the fucking shit. All he had to do was go on stage and say, "Knock that shit off." He didn't.
So,
He didn't.
is your concern or your grievance with that he didn't call it out?
To me, he could have stopped it and he didn't. Which
Do you
to
think
me
so?
Showed his colors for sure. The same way that he rallied it, he could have stopped it. To me, he's using the same tactic that Hitler used. Hitler was a great leader. Hitler was super inspirational. Hitler led the masses. Hitler changed the world. Hitler murdered millions of people. Hitler made comic books and compared Jews to rats. And literally, that was his thing. To me, it was the scariest thing ever as a black man watching him really inspire people. I saw in Vegas when I was up for the 10X conference. I was walking in Vegas and I
Who
saw
goes
this,
to the 10X conference?
I saw this kid with this 13-year-old kid with a "Make America Great Again" shirt. And I hated the fact that all I could think about was, fuck, this kid's probably a racist shithead.
So, Bill,
And that's judgmental as fuck.
yeah,
Call it
that's
what you want.
that's your own
100%.
junk.
Watch this. Ironically, the reason why I feel that way is because that's been the fucking message for the last 2 years, whatever it is, behind Donald. Like, that's been the commentary. That's been shown. And maybe the fucking media is against him. Maybe it's fucking not. But to me, it's no coincidence that fucking everyone in the world would agree that since Donald Trump has been in the conversation, America, at least at a glance, has been more divided than it's been since fucking segregation. So all the progression that it seemed like we were making, it's gonna take a step back. So having said that, again, policy-wise, business-wise, what he accomplished, he did the impossible. Fuck yeah, raised the roof. You showed everybody what's possible. You can literally be the president when everybody thinks you're a joke. Amazing. But as a person, which is more important to me, is what you inspire, the kind of people you create around him. Shitty.
So if I may,
Yeah. All right.
I have no idea what it's like to be discriminated against. I have no idea what it's like to be treated a certain way because of skin color, because of gender. I've never had to fear walking home because I'm a woman. Every time I have been hit on by a member of the opposite sex, I've enjoyed it. I've never been.
Yeah.
So some people call that privilege. I would just say I don't know what it is like to be discriminated against that. So I'm totally sensitive that you might have a different set of experiences to judge an event like a rally where.
And for no, I do believe in judging. Everyone's like, oh my God, don't just shut the fuck up. Everyone, you should judge the fuck out of everybody. Here's the difference. You shouldn't treat someone differently because of your opinion of them. That makes sense? You should still be kind to everybody, but judge the fuck out of them because stereotypes are true most of the time.
That's interesting.
I'm
I'm not sure I could say that and get away with it. but so I'm looking at a different lens. I'm looking through a different filter than you might be looking at it. I'm not sure that Trump could have stopped that. I think there was a very radical wing that was waiting for their hero. They saw him whether he was or not. I don't necessarily blame Trump for that, but I will give you that there should have been more condemnation.
Well, what about?
And again, I did not vote for the man.
Yeah.
I'm only evaluating policy, and I think that the policy has been a huge step in the right direction.
And that's cool.
And I'm also very optimistic that the pushback that is happening against the current president will result in more solutions because they are starting to see the government cannot be trusted. A great example of this would be in the tax bill, the individual mandate was repealed, which, as someone who doesn't believe in government involvement and thinks that government causes more problems than it solves, I was very pleased that the individual mandate was removed. What you saw a few weeks later was you had Bezos, Buffett coming together and saying, what can we do about healthcare prices? That is how it is supposed to be.
Cool.
So when you see that crumble, you have private solutions come.
You're running game on people right now, which I like.
I'm running game on people?
You're educating them, which I like. Because a lot of people don't even realize that.
Cool. Oh yeah, I mean, look, the brain is wired to find simple solutions. So the gun control debate right now, when you initiate fear, you would say, I want a solution to this. And so the solution is, government should do something about this. And for the record, I would probably support common sense gun legislation reform. I just haven't seen any that I think would make a meaningful difference.
And I'm with you on that, the gun control thing.
Well, I mean, gun control aside, the demand is often,
Mark Black's in the building, shout out.
I want government to do something about it, and I genuinely don't think that government can do anything beneficial. Like, give me a program that we all like.
Watch this. We're on the same page there, and to me, this is gonna sound crazy. I was actually speaking with my girlfriend's best friend, one of her best girlfriends. And she's super in the political conversation. Like, Jenny, I love you. I just don't give a fuck at all politics. And then she said something interesting to me. And she mentioned, why aren't they making policies at X, Y, and Z? And I said, dude, do you know who makes the policies? And she's like, yeah, like lawmakers. Like, no, it's the fucking influencers. The politicians completely just do what the people push them to do. Period. The people do what the fuck Kim Kardashian says. You guys think that's a fucking joke, but that's the realest shit ever. Their family is the most followed family in the entire world of all time.
That's nuts.
And with one click of a button, they can send a message out to the world faster than any government or individual on the fucking planet. You think policymakers are going to save you? People are fucking controlling your world with this thing. It's nuts.
Yep.
So we're in complete agreement.
You are totally right.
Captain Save, who you think someone's gonna fucking save you? Shut the fuck up. I love Trump's like, get over it, one thing I love about Trump, ironically, is the fact that when politicians have to traditionally have had to run these perfect campaigns where they act completely like they've never done anything bad in their life. If there's any dirt that comes up on them, their life is over, and then there's scandals and da-da-da-da. And Donald Trump said, I don't give a fuck. Yes, I cursed. Yes, I said this. I'm fucking human. To me, that message won. To me, the fact that he was fucking real, even though he's a shitbag, he was fucking an honest shitbag. You gotta respect that. You're gonna be a shitbag, be an honest shitbag. Woo! Period, right? Like, he was a fucking honest shitbag. And that's what I appreciate about Trump. He's not gonna fucking bullshit. He's like, yeah, I'm a dirtbag. Yeah,
I think he might bullshit.
He's like, I fuck these hoes. And that's what he said.
I think.
Is that what he said? I fuck these hoes?
Well, no, I wouldn't go as far as to call him an honest person.
Okay,
I might call him a persuasive or an effective person, but I don't know that honest would make the list of adjectives that I would ascribe to Donald Trump.
This is the only thing that we can kind of change to talk about business shit. The only thing I didn't like is when, I think it was the president of the Ku Klux Klan, when he's like openly like, go Donald Trump, da-da-da, and Donald wasn't like, get the fuck away from me, like there. He was just silent. To me, that was like, yo, that one actually scared me. That was like when I was like, holy shit, like, I finally understood how Hitler was able to rally an entire world behind him. I finally got it.
I don't think that's a fair comparison. I think
it wasn't to the extreme, but I saw how it was beginning to possible because the rhetoric, the narrative around it. To me, that was so absurd that someone could publicly not denounce that running for president. But to see that he was winning popularity at the time, it was mind-blowing.
I think he compromised more popularity by making that mistake than he won over. I think anytime you invoke Hitler into a comparison, I would say that you are giving up the argument.
Fair enough. Well, I don't want to say I'm giving the argument, but like I said, I didn't say he was Hitler, but I saw, I understood how Hitler's movement got started. Because to me, when I look back at the time and not being in that time, it just sounds like something so impossible to convince people to fucking murder millions of people. It sounds crazy, but if I may, Hitler could be persuasive when Hitler was persuasive because he was coming off a very economically depressed time in Germany. Germany was crippled by the Treaty of Versailles in World War I. As a result, they went through an economic depression. Then when people are hungry, they do weird shit. Desperation,
right?
Creates weird shit.
So the primary need of first part of our brain, the reptilian part of our brain, is survival. Ultimately, if you can make people afraid, you will do whatever you want. Like every politician appeals to that. And so I think it's an unfair comparison. I think if you're initiating hate, I don't think that you could draw a comparison to Hitler because Hitler was promoting survival, and I don't think that's a fair comparison.
All right, I mean,
I think if you're promoting hate in 2017, 2018, you're going to turn off more people than like we are better than
it just happened. It just happened. He promoted hate. He's the president. It just happened. That's what I mean. It's like, to me, these things. Everyone who makes the argument, oh, like racism, that it's so far away. Let's take color out of it. Let's just go with the gender thing. If a president,
let's go less controversial. Let's go gender instead of.
That's not less controversial. That's just different kind of controversy, right? But as two men speaking on it, we only know part of the feeling, right? But you got kids. How old are your kids?
I have one. I have a daughter, 2.5.
My daughter is 2 also, almost 2.5. The President of the United States, representative of our country, is speaking about women. Grabbing her by the pussy, a news reporter walks out. That's your daughter? Is that really somebody that you would want to represent our country? Like, if that, would you want, like, that's, when I think of that and then now having a daughter, does that immediately make him not qualified to be a president to me?
I don't say no. I don't say it disqualifies somebody.
Okay.
Do I want them representing me? No, not at all. And I'll even say, first of all, I'll say since having a daughter, I become way more sensitive to issues like I recognize I've never had to walk home at night and feel afraid.
Right.
I've never had that experience. So I recognize that women have unique issues that I've never had to experience. I might argue that men have their own set of issues as well that women don't quite understand.
Like, is my penis big enough?
That, I mean, I've never had to worry about that. So
again, stereotype. I'm black, neither am I. But these things happen out there.
I'm just a freak. So I'm sensitive to the argument that you're making.
Penis one?
Look, I think rhetoric matters. And I know when Donald Trump tweets, I'm embarrassed. And as an American, I'm kind of embarrassed when he talks. But I think what's more important than rhetoric is policy, because it's the only thing that I can rationally analyze.
I agree with that.
I think the policy has been a big step in the right direction.
And I think there's a core there that we're on the same page of. Is like, arguing with a professional athlete, a musician, he's doing that. Dumb shit, but whatever the fuck, the policy matters. To me, where it crossed the line was when I felt like hate was being leveraged to divide.
Totally get it.
And that. But I'm with you, is like, I think there is a lot of bullshit where people are getting distracted by him making a fucking dumb comment that someone else would say and focus on if he really does improve the economy. Then you're right, the policy and all that outweighs the fucking stupid shit that doesn't create hate.
So, and let's flip it. I think Barack Obama was one of the most pleasant, respectful, well-articulated politicians I've ever seen.
Cool.
I would love to have a beer with the guy.
Samesies.
And there wasn't a damn thing he did that I agreed with.
Okay.
Policy-wise.
Yep.
Right? So I think he was respectful and poised. I love the rhetoric. But the policy, not a damn thing did I agree with.
For you. Here's a guy that believes we create our own economy. Both of us agree there?
Yep.
As humans. We're responsible for our own thing. So you have to choose a president who's making policies, which we both agreed on earlier, doesn't really do shit, or ones who's representative of the type of man that we want our children to grow up as. Who do you choose? Heavy question, right?
I think this is a question that is only relevant in the last few years.
No, but it's a stumper, right? You know that shit was fire, baby. Somebody watching, that was a good point.
It's a great point and a fascinating analysis for where we are in the cycle, because I think governments are crumbling. It's inevitable that it does crumble. Yeah. I think Donald Trump accelerates that because it makes people lose their faith in government.
That's interesting.
And I think you can expedite that process, but I am government policy by getting involved in markets and doing anything invariably slows things down. I think the healthcare bill is a perfect example of that. We did so much damage to people by trying to get government involved in healthcare.
Okay, I'm going to ask you this, and this is because I don't know, right? This is like your space. You actually said this shit again. I'm not.
You know what's funny is we just made the decision that I should talk about politics less publicly, and here we are. I love the conversation, but like ultimately, I think we all make. I don't change the world by talking about politics.
Yeah.
We change people by giving them the freedom to live life on their own terms, and that changes their policy.
Talking about politics openly, on terms. Greed. There's the old, what the fuck is the quote? Greed is the, what is this? Number one something is fucking greed, whatever the fuck. I don't remember what the saying is.
You could say greed was the
root of all evil. Greed is the root of all evil, right? You've heard
not a real Bible quote, by the way.
I didn't say it was Bible.
Well, that's where it's often quoted, but it's misquoted.
So,
it is not the real.
Greed is the root of all evil, right? So my
ministry student.
Yeah. So again, and I mean, I went to Catholic school, private, high school, middle school, college, University of San Diego. Studied so many Old Testament, fucking New Testament, know the Bible in and out. That's the one thing I do know. But
that would be a fun follow-up.
We can dive into that.
Bible trivia.
Yeah, we can go in there. But going with the stupid quote, I don't give a shit. Greed is the root of all evil. My question.
Not a real quote.
It's a quote because people say it, right? So you know what I'm saying when fuck you, Ryan. So my question to you is this: take policymakers out of it.
Is that Chris Record?
Yeah, that's the homie.
All right, cool.
You know Chris?
Yeah. Go on.
You want to bring Chris in? Can you grab Chris?
Anyway, go on.
We'll do guest appearance. All right. We'll go. So my question to you is: remove those policy things. Do you really believe that all of these leaders who do have control will do what's best for the greater good versus their own personal gain?
I think we all have a bias.
In other words, if there was no law against murdering someone, people will fuck people up all the time. I think there needs to be some kind of regulator on people because I do think people they try and be good, but I think people are greedy and selfish before they're good. And therefore they act accordingly, which hurts others.
So is a question about greed, or is a question about would we kill each other if there was no?
The question is, would we end up destroying our economy even worse if we were just to let everybody run free because everybody's worried about themselves, not the greater good?
No.
Why?
Because economics is driven by exchange, and I will not give you anything unless I think that what I'm getting in return is better than what I'm giving up. So there is. I've identified two mindsets. One is one of scarcity and one is of abundance. And this completely changes your worldview. You either think that there's a fixed amount,
right,
and we're all after the fixed amount, or you believe that we're creating the pie. We're all baking the pie together.
Which one do you believe?
I think we're all baking an unlimited pie.
Well, question: if you believe in capitalism, by default, that means there's tiers. Not everybody can be rich.
Sure, they can.
Not everybody can be rich.
Absolutely, they can.
It's how
capitalism
works.
Are you evaluating this on relative wealth, or are you evaluating it on real wealth?
Everyone can't be rich. How about
Absolutely, they can.
How?
Okay, look 100 years ago. Everyone watching this is living a better life
rich means
than 100 years ago. Where you're talking about relative wealth. You're talking about everyone be at the top?
Correct.
That is relative. That's like saying, everyone?
Who decides what people are like? Well, I'm cool with my wealth just being this versus my wealth being that.
So the comparison you're making is, can everyone be healthy?
No, absolutely not. Apples.
What do you mean? It's the same argument. Can you be healthy, or can you be at the top of health? Health is improving exponentially because of breakthroughs.
I have $1 million.
Yeah.
You have $1 million. Everybody has $1 million. What happens to prices? Mr. eComm, what happens to prices? Everybody has $1 million. Everyone has $1 million. Is everybody rich? Or do prices just go up and is everybody broke again?
That's a different argument.
No, it's the same one. That's
it's a completely different argument.
It's the same one.
Look, so compared to even 50 or 100 years ago,
all right,
lifespans are longer, health is better, standard of livings are higher.
Word.
We have all of our basic needs met.
Okay.
We can do random things like this that didn't exist.
Watch this.
And everyone has access to that.
Which is why the quote "Make America Great Again" pisses me off. We're fucking better than we've ever been before.
The standard of living has increased at a faster rate than it has ever increased because of free markets and capitalism. Everyone, every living person, if you are in a first world nation, is vastly richer, vastly wealthier, but by a measurement that we can only imagine.
Okay.
We live the life of kings of a couple hundred years ago. Literally everyone in a first world nation right now is living a vastly better life.
Based on
everyone
that
can be rich.
Fine.
Give this
Fine.
25 years. In 25 years, there will be so much wealth and there will be so much abundance that everyone will have all of their basic needs met.
Yeah, but now you're talking about what the fuck? Who talks about that all the time? Elon and a few other people about what's the term about how we're gonna have to figure out with automation coming in and a lot of the jobs being replaced. Some kind of like, hey, just for being born, you get X amount of dollars.
Yeah, that's the dumbest idea ever invented.
Universal income. That's what the fuck.
Yeah, we can smash that one if you want to smash that one, but go on.
No, I don't. You know what I mean? But it sounded like you were alluding to that.
No, we don't need a universal basic income, and here's why. Because as you have all of this abundance, prices come crashing through the floor.
Right.
So our daughters won't have driver's licenses.
I can agree with that.
Because there will be driverless cars.
Yeah. You have
And they
Tesla?
won't. I do, yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
Good time,
it's
right?
pretty awesome.
Yeah,
Let's play a big dick contest for a second. Which one is yours?
Okay. So in fairness, shut up. Before
I have the P100D.
Okay, here's why I don't get the P100D. The Tesla is my girl's car. My girl and my 2-year-old daughter do not need to be going a fucking 140 miles per hour in like fucking 3 seconds.
Can I tell you a fun story?
Yeah.
My daughter's name is Esther.
Yeah.
And I put her in her car seat, I have a $200,000 Tesla with a car seat in it, which is kind of funny and ironic.
I got my Bentley outside, car seat in the back.
and we'll be
That's
driving.
what the rappers forget to talk about. They got car seats in the back.
We'll be driving a lot of car seats. We'll be driving around the neighborhood, and she'll say, "Daddy, play Wii?" And I was like, "Oh, sweetheart, you want to play Wii?" And she says, "Yeah." I'll say, "Okay, go ahead." And she goes, 1, 2, 3, and I smash the accelerator, and she goes, "Wee." Okay, anyway.
Fair enough.
So we were talking about universal basic income. I love that we're not talking about e-commerce. This is so great. I love you. I love you for not asking me about Amazon.
You know me, like, I just
so
keep the road. And I would have flowed to eComm if it was boring. I'm just like, you kind of got my attention. You know what I mean? I'm like, wow.
All right. So,
really fast, to bring it back to the entrepreneur thing, there's one thing that we both agree on. So shut up. Entrepreneurs create your own economy. In other words, shut the fuck up
and it's your job to create your own economy.
Yes.
If you are waiting for the president to change, if you're waiting for Congress to change, if you're waiting for legislation to change, it's just a bad strategy. If it was the best strategy, for example, the civil rights movement, you had people beating each other in the streets. You probably need some legislation in order to protect one another. Probably a good bill.
Right.
When people are exploited, that is the role of government. When there is fraud, that is the role of government.
Some people feel exploited. So I'm gonna talk about that a little bit, right? So
feeling exploited is different than exploited.
We're in the same boat of, we believe, look, it's your responsibility to change your own shit. But I know there's going to be a handful of people watching this, whichever fucking camera I'm talking to right now, because we got 6 going on. There's a lot of people who feel
there are
like,
6.
Well, because of where you came from, it's a lot harder for you. And I'm going to tell you something. It is. It is a lot harder for you. I learned something super valuable. It's probably one of the most important lessons in my life. I have 2 tattoos. Perspective, and this one says vision. You can see them right there, right? Precision, perspective, they're real. Right here on my wrist. The reason why I got that is because my mom, dad, you guys know me who follow me, grew up on welfare, right? My mom was one of 13 kids. The wealthiest person that they knew when they were growing up were drug dealers, pimps, real pimps. Not like, I'm pimping, like a pimp.
That's real shit.
Right? Like, so we all know the quote, you're the average of the 5 people you hang out with, whatever. So when you grow up to this, the wealthiest guy that I knew was my dad, who sold cars. He wasn't making a shitload of money, but relative to what everybody else is doing, that was the deal. Then I go to the University of San Diego, 98% white. Then you take into the account the people that do not play sports, that are colored, me, 99%. Get perspective. $40,000 a semester, like $200,000 for the whole time. Grossly expensive, right? So I got to meet some people there. But what I realized is the way that these 2 groups think are completely different. Their version of life was a lot of people, and I'm stereotyping both sides. A lot of people was, you grow up, you go to school, you go to college, you get a job, you work your corporate ladder, right? That's the American dream thing. That's what a lot of people think. That's the white American dream. Where we're currently at today in 2018, still, for most minorities, unfortunately, it's stay alive, have enough money to pay my bills, and have enough disposable income to do something fun every once in a while. The average of the 5 people that this person saw, well, it's like my uncle's a doctor, my uncle's a CPA, my aunt's a lawyer. Those things are not real for most broke people. Their version of success doesn't exist because they never have seen anybody on TV that looks like them that's doing something positive. If you look at the movies in the 90s and the early 2000s, every time you saw a person of color, they were a rapper, they were a ball player, they were a drug dealer, they were a robber. Look at the fucking roles. That's why people are going crazy for Black Panther, because it feels good to fucking see yourself other than a fucking scumbag and an articulate person of kings and queens in the world. It gave people a vision that they've never been able to see themselves before. So the people who believe there's an equal playing ground, you're mistaken. But for my people down here, if you continue to believe that there's nothing you can do because you're just fucked, and you're a victim, you will stay down here. So I do not give a fuck how hard it is for you now. Until you own your own shit, you will never grow here. But because of the people that decide to do this, our children won't have to grow up with the same vision of success, which is why when Damon, John, and I sit here yesterday and we're able to teach a new wave of children, of kids, of high school adults, of how to succeed, it means the world. So everybody needs to have the realization, Democrat or Republican, that's the fucking difference. And beware, and then the people right here, don't throw a stone at these people because they got what you want. Isn't that our goal too? See how both sides fuck each other with a difference of perspective? Stop fucking each other and help each other. Then fuck each other and build a world together. See that quote?
That's heavy shit. may I add too? So
go ahead.
So what I actually really appreciate you sharing this because I have a different filter and I recognize the ignorance of my filter because I've only experienced one life as one gender, as one experience.
Sure.
But I would also add to that regardless of where you fall in the economic spectrum, you are in right now the freest and the best shot you have if you are willing to take responsibility for your own life.
Yep.
And if that's the case, regardless of where you start, we are in the most economically mobile time ever. Starting here, you can go here, and that has never ever existed before. And second,
that's true.
That outsourcing that responsibility to government is the most enslaving thing that you can do.
Yes.
Because it is only by you that you can initiate that change.
Watch this. We agree 1,000% right there. I agree. Hey, if you're waiting for, you guys know the saying, Captain Save-A-Ho. If you're waiting for Captain Save a Government, like it's never gonna work.
It's just a bad strategy. If there was a good strategy, I would be all for it. But it's just not an effective strategy to wait for government to make any change that you want.
100%. It will just keep you waiting. So that's why, like, all the communities, like, my biggest thing that inspires me, I got money, I'm good, is being able to show those people that you're talking about, hey, right now you live in the freest time ever. When I teach my lessons and I go into deep strategies of Facebook ads, Instagram ads, YouTube ads, I teach you guys about the structure of a business, etc. To me, every single time I spit that, I'm hoping I'm reaching somebody whose their 5 people average is shit. I can be the 6th person that just increases their chances just a little bit to succeed.
That's awesome.
Just a little bit, you know what I mean? So that's the whole idea. And I hope the people who are successful just realize that, again, both can do it, but starting from negative and starting from a little bit is completely different. Shout out to fucking Gary Vaynerchuk. But
thank God he didn't say Grant Cardone.
But you starting from $3 million, and again, I went to his office, paid 30 grand to go, I do nothing but respect the guy. You taking your dad's company and bringing it from $3 million to $60 million, every entrepreneur in the fucking world will tell you the hardest part of making money is what phase? 0 to 100,000. That's the difference I'm talking about. It was so hard, I got left with my dad's $3 million things. Or Donald's line, it was so hard, I got left with $1 million hair start alone. We understand that, $1 million to do that isn't that much. But to this person, when you have to start from zero, starting from zero is the fucking hard part. Period.
I must commend you, and I want to commend you because I have never talked about politics and religion and gotten drunk on camera all at the same time. I haven't eaten much today, and the wine just hit, and I went, oh dear.
Well, I was gonna say, we talked about a lot of shit on this show before, and I don't think we haven't taken this route.
Well, let's keep going.
Business is next.
Yeah,
So at some point we gotta talk about business.
We'll
right?
wrap up at the end with a very small part. We'll talk.
This is great. I had a dinner to go to. I'm already late to it, and I don't even want to go. This is great.
All right, so I'll say, fuck, I don't even know. The business stuff just seems.
No, what other controversial topics can we talk about?
Abortion.
Oh, shit.
If you didn't think that was funny,
We can go there if you want. If you want to go there, we can go there.
It should be legal. The end of conversation. Yes. Right, we have to be agreed.
I feel very torn.
Oh, stop! You got it. Come on, man. You know damn well. That
I feel very
else
torn.
you said it's like a misread. I can't even imagine. You believe.
I believe what?
Too much into freedom and choice to have somebody be able to tell you to.
All right, so we are going to have an abortion debate. All right, let's go. Let's go. Okay, so all right, so
this has to be practice, just arguing the other side, because no way you can believe that.
So no,
They want to sing Happy Birthday.
Keep want to go downstairs.
Oh, but we're talking about abortion. We can't stop.
I want this.
Oh, they
Okay.
can do this.
Are you
They can do
good?
it. Tell them to start it now. They can do it.
No. Tell them to start with that.
Yeah, they can.
Okay, so look, I know. First of all, I know it's more politically
What
correct.
state do you live in?
I live in Texas.
Okay.
I'm from Ohio.
Okay, cool.
So first of all, I know that it is politically correct to just choose a side and argue that side. And there's two sides where I
like to do that.
I'm not sure yet, and that would be the gun control debate and abortion.
Okay.
Right. So abortion. Here's my experience. Wow, I must be drunk because I'm about to admit something that I shouldn't admit. I grew up in the church.
Yeah.
There's like, these sins, and then there's the really bad ones.
Yeah.
And one of them is having a child out of wedlock.
Yep.
So I was saving myself till marriage until I was comfortable saying I'm no longer a Christian.
Not, again, a lot of friends like that. Yeah.
So I was very careful where I put certain parts of my body.
Okay.
And so I was abstinent until I was almost 26 years old.
Okay.
And then I found out I was going to be a father.
Oh shit.
Right? So
Whoa! How did it go down?
It was an incredibly painful
I
experience.
think we were the same age because I think that was the age. I'm 29 now. I think that was the same age I found out.
Okay, so all this to say, I was completely pro-life
Yeah.
until I was in a position where
you really considered not.
where not that I considered not, that I was in a position where I had to make a decision, right? And who knows if I was not in a economically stable position,
Right.
if I was not successful, if I did not have my tish together in some way, and we all have our issues.
So
but
we
like,
went through the same experience because when the first thing I thought when my girl called me and told me she was pregnant, no bullshit, was I'm so thankful right now that we can afford it. Because remember my perspective I told you earlier, I saw so many people couldn't afford it. It was like the most stressful thing ever. So to me, that was the first thing I thought, and it did change my opinion on like, if I didn't and I really wasn't financially, I would have had an abortion.
So based on my background, I don't know that I ever would have gone that route.
Right.
And full disclosure, if Esther ever sees this, you're the best thing that ever happened to me. You changed me, made me a better man. I'm so thankful for you every single day.
Yeah, Kai, I love you too, girl. Like, don't even strip.
But if I had been in a different position, who knows what I might have considered. So that was the first time where I thought, not everyone has the same the same choice as me.
Yep.
Right? The ability to consciously choose something.
Well, Brian, you have to realize too, there's a lot of people, like I think people forget how broke goes, but there's a lot of people who are getting pregnant that they had the baby because they couldn't get the $400 for the abortion. They're totally not ready for it. So here they are having the baby, and people think, well, it's more expensive to have a child. Yeah, you don't have to pay them that cash. The doctor will still deliver the baby, and then you'll just have debt for the rest of your life and bad credit, like and all the things that come with it. But it's just a scary thing. Like a lot of people just do it because they don't know another option. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't think there's a great answer to it. Like hopefully.
Here's the other side of it is we currently do not have a definition of when life begins. We do, now that to me is the linchpin argument. There is no common agreement about when life begins.
Which is strange.
Does life begin?
I feel like it should be, right?
Does life begin at birth? I think you could argue that it happens before then. If it is a fully viable fetus.
I think there's like 3 months.
I agree.
When the baby can't feel, and it's like not even when there's no heart, like.
I'm sympathetic to the argument that you're making, but I'm also sympathetic to those who believe that once there is conception,
here's the rules.
That is a life that take religion out of it. If we believe that one of our fundamental freedoms is the protection of life, the ambiguous argument is where does life begin? If you believe that life begins at conception, then abortion would be a completely moral atrocity.
But we also know that the number one human instinct is self-preservation. So when you have a baby inside you, if you decide to get rid of that baby, that's about yourself.
That argument only holds up if we don't believe that life begins at conception. If you believe that life begins at any other point,
we don't know. We can't.
Right. So this is where the debate comes in. Now I could tell you where I think legislation should be, like how we should govern ourselves.
Yeah, I just don't think we can ever tell someone to not be able to abort their own kid. To me, I think that's where all the same thoughts. But at what point it's this? If you tell someone to abort their kid, then if they decide to not abort it, you have to take it.
Oh, dude, no. Hold on a second.
I mean, you're gonna tell someone to have a baby or not? Take it then.
At what point does it flip over to be a protected life? I mean, that is the argument. So if it comes out, if it's 2 days old, and
I think
do we make the same argument?
I think they talk about the whole problem, like you watch the pregnancy process, but there has to be a point where doctors agree. I think it's just before 3 months. I don't really fucking know. Where like there's a point where you see the baby and they're like moving and shit and da da da. To me, that motherfucker's alive at that point. But I know there's points before that where all that shit's not happening and there's just fucking cells and shit. Again, I don't know. I'm not a doctor. You know what I mean? I'm not a doctor.
Here's where I will agree with you. There is something very different about a collection of cells and an 8-month-old pregnancy.
You see what I'm saying?
There's something very different about that.
And I think that matters.
I am of the subjective opinion that it matters as well. The question is, where does that line fall? And that's ambiguous, and that's hard. And I don't think that we are sympathetic to one another in this argument. But the fact is, like you care about protecting people, I care about protecting people. The question is, when are people in the pregnancy period long enough to be protected? And that's a hard question, and I think we get so caught in fighting each other over one of this, and we forget the sympathetic argument of there is some ambiguity to when life begins, and there are people who say it begins at conception, and I totally understand that argument.
And I agree.
There are people who say there are some people who say until the baby comes home with you, it's not a life. I think that's kind of a problem.
I think I agree with that.
So I consider myself more. I am more pro-life than I am pro-choice.
Okay.
But I get it, and I don't fall on either side per se.
So here's what I'll tell you guys. I think there's no denial that we need to do this on a monthly basis, maybe a weekly basis, and we just argue. Black man versus white man. And that's what it's called. Black man versus white man. That's actually a great title. Very controversial.
Oh man.
Black man versus white man. I'm serious.
If you can pull, I can't pull that off. You might be able to pull that off. I can't pull that off.
Like that's the genius behind it, right? So this is going to be the first business interview I've ever done where
We didn't talk business.
No. And I want to keep it that way. I think that's the beauty of it. I think that's the beauty of it, you know? So...
Amazon and e-commerce and 8-figure busineses,
Fuck that
marketing on Facebook. Yeah, who cares?
So what we're deciding to do is that we're going to do a show. And it's called Black Man vs. White Man. Here it is.
It'll be
Black
hosted
Man-
on capitalism.com.
Yeah, but that's actually a fucking genius idea.
I'm in.
Black Man vs. White Man, starring fucking Billie Jean and Ryan Moran.
Why didn't I get a
Every
fucking?
Well, watch
You
this.
got fucking Billie Jean. I just got Ryan Moran.
Black people a little bit cooler. See what I'm saying? Like, you gotta find your stripes. So I think that would be a fun fucking 15-minute segment, and we just fucking do it.
I think this was longer than 15 minutes. I'm not gonna lie.
We don't bring it up. We gotta pick a subject every time.
Abortion?
You know what I mean? Because I tell people all the time,
Man.
like, I'm very racist. Like, I make no mistakes about it. Like, I tell them, I hate fucking white people, I hate black people, I hate Mexicans, Asians, Middle Easterns.
You see, the
big
things
racist.
you can say that I can't.
It's different. It is.
So this
the
is
Black Man
probably
versus
the
White Man.
most. This is probably the most fun I've ever had doing an interview, despite the fact that I'm sitting where Grant Cardone sat.
I'm with Grant. You hear him, man. That's your boy. That's your boy. Still put me on stage at 10.
do you even know the story of Grant? That would probably
With
be
you and Grant?
What's that?
With you and Grant?
Yeah.
No. Let's close it out with that.
Are we gonna go there?
Go there.
We've already talked about abortion. Can we talk about Grant Cardone as
Farted in
well?
his chair, so.
You know, I've been trying to force a fart this entire interview, and
I'm gonna tell Brian that.
I'm afraid I'm gonna blow an O-ring. You know, I was
Shout out to Grant right now.
So at the event, I was sitting on the bulletproof vibe. You know what that is? It like vibrates and you stand on it. It's supposed to like cleanse your aura or some weird thing. It made my sphincter feel very odd.
What the fuck happened with Grant?
Oh, what happened with Grant? Sorry, Grant, sphincter, same part of my brain.
Stephen A. Smith, Skip Bayless.
I like Grant's message. I'm a fan of a lot of what he writes. It's why I invited him to speak at my event, which is called the Capitalism Conference.
Did you speak there?
Yeah.
You had some speakers, bro.
Thank
If
you.
I remember, like, what was it? Who was all that? I remember seeing the email. I was like, and I just remember feeling,
well,
oh shit, this motherfucker's got speakers.
I mean, we've had Gary Vaynerchuk, we've had billionaire Brian, we had a bunch of billionaires.
You know what I realized? I learned
What?
they're smart. Not all the time the best speakers.
Billionaires?
Yeah.
Oh, it's funny. I've had the opposite experience.
Well, because look at what you're the states you're in. So I don't know what income range that you're.
well, I mean, average attendee runs $1 million business at the Capitalism
cool.
Conference.
So you have a nice crowd.
So we're an entrepreneurial event. We're not a marketing event, and we talk about investing in big and business and entrepreneurship. But anyway, so I invited.
Well, if you do a marketing category, put me on that. I'll blow their fucking.
All right, cool. So I invited Grant to speak.
That wasn't. He just agreed. Go ahead.
I totally respect what Grant has done in real estate, at least supposedly. You know, owns hundreds of millions of dollars worth of real estate.
Yeah.
I totally respect that. I like what he represents in the world, publicly. When I invited him to speak, he was really intentional about helping us generate some buzz for the event.
Yeah.
He was really present with me in our conversations that we had. I even said publicly, out of all the people that I was excited to meet, I was excited to meet Grant Cardone.
Okay.
And we had Gary Vaynerchuk that year. We had Robert Herjavec that year. We had Pat Flynn that year. We had billionaire Jeff Hoffman that year.
I love Herjavec.
And Grant Cardone was a person I was most excited to meet because I respected what he has done in the world and what he's represented, and I wanted him to talk about real estate.
Okay.
So I invited him to speak. We didn't have anybody to talk about what to do with your capital once you've made it.
Which
So
is cool.
so him building at the time what was a $400 million real estate empire, I was really excited to learn about this. We had 3 conversations before he went on stage outlining what he was going to talk about. He said this to me. He's like, you want to talk about real estate? Man, I'll give the whole speech for you, baby.
Yeah.
You're the only person in the audience. I'll give it to you. He even said, he was like, man, I love this event that you're putting together. I would love to do an event with you.
Wait, so this is real. He fucks you over. This is beef right here?
Oh, this is real beef.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you were joking.
No, I'm not. No, I genuinely.
You're making me choose side.
I genuinely do not like Grant
I have
Cardone.
to say, your opinions stand alone on this. Because I fuck with Grant, but at the same time, I'm open to hear it. 'Cause I'm not going to turn to this, but like,
so I
fuck with Grant.
I know Grant is going to watch this because I've talked about this publicly before, and he has reached out and almost apologized. Almost.
Wait, so what happened?
So what happened was, Grant comes backstage. I'm super excited to meet him, And again, this is a time in my career where I don't have the platform that I have now.
Right, you're building. So
So
you
I'm
invested a lot to the event. You had a lot of cash.
I paid him his speaker fee to come. I'm really excited to meet him. And up until this point, he's been really respectful and present with me. He's even said, like, I'd love to do an event together. And he's in the corner betting on backgammon games on his phone, and I'm trying to connect with him, and he's just like, oh, I'm in the middle. I've got $19,000 on this backgammon game on his cell phone. I'm like, all right, this is interesting. And he looks up at me and he says, hey, what do you think that these people in the audience want to know? And I was like, Grant, we've had 3 conversations. We want to talk about real estate. I want to know how you vet your deals. I want to hear how you raise capital. I want to hear about what markets you go into. I want to hear about the real estate empire. Yeah, okay, cool. Back to backgammon.
Okay.
He goes to his video guy. He's like, hey, make sure you record Ryan's intro. I'm sure it's going to be good and we can use it later.
Okay.
He's like, okay. He goes on stage. We're fully prepped for the speech. First thing he does when he gets on stage is insult my business partner about his physical appearance.
Okay.
He called him scrawny Matt. He's like, Matt needs to hit the mat. Matt's a little scrawny. I was like, all right, this is
He just paid you? Okay.
No, I'm like, all right, this is weird.
But he talks shit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna that was out there, right?
That's fine.
So I'm gonna get both sides.
And he spent 90 minutes on stage with a canned presentation. He never mentioned the words real or estate. Never talked about deal acquisition. Never. So I went up on stage with
What did he speak about?
He spoke about 10x. He showed his socks a lot, which said "seller be sold" and went "seller be sold." And then he made the crowd chant Grant Cardone. And it was
how was the audience feeling about it?
The audience. It was very entertaining, and it was completely not on topic. So I went on stage. He went over time. So I brought a bottle of wine and 2 glasses, and I said, Grant, this is all on YouTube. You can watch it. Okay. And I was like, I apparently need to get you drunk to talk about real estate. And
I see what you did. And I come on stage trying to bring it back. All right.
And I was like, all right, let's talk about your deal acquisition strategy. And he would dodge the question and go back to his canned presentation. So all right, let's talk about raising capital. He would dodge the question and go back to his canned presentation.
Did you say something?
Yes, the whole time I'm sitting there going like, are you gonna give me anything or what? And he went off stage. Grant Cardone. It was really awkward. I walked him to his car.
Say something again.
This is what I said to him, Billie Jean. I said, Grant, I know you're working really hard at building your audience right now. Is there anything that I can do to support you?
Wow.
And you know what he said? He said, I got to do more speeches like this, even though it's a complete waste of my time. And then he got into his car and he drove off. And that was my experience with Grant Cardone. Now I've talked about this publicly, and once again, I fully love what he talks about publicly. I like his books. I'm totally respect how he's built his audience.
If that's how
but when I was a customer, he did not do what we agreed upon, and I consider that a problem. He did reach out at one point and said he did say I've done.
Did he say why he didn't talk about it?
Yeah, he did. I've done a parody video where I interviewed Grant Cardone.
So this is a thing.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So you can look up on YouTube, look up Grant Cardone. It's a blast.
Okay.
But he reached out when he saw that, and he was like, I loved the parody video. Thought it was really funny. I made a judgment call to do a pivot when I went on stage because I didn't want to lose the audience. I was like, lose the audience? Like, I had pitched you as the $100 million real estate investor. Like we sold tickets together based on your speech topic. This is what you're supposedly known for, being an investor.
Do you, again, looking back at the event, and you can see the footage and audience reaction, do you think he did the right thing making the pivot? Because
not at all.
I'm playing devil's advocate, right?
Yeah.
So you're on stage, you go to real estate, you feel the energy, and then you just kind of take over in this other thing that's worked in the past, and people like that. So I guess I'm trying to
And he just happened to have a canned presentation loaded into the teleprompter.
Okay, that's a different story. So I guess where I go is, hey, where I was trying to judge someone's character is their intent versus just them. So I'm trying to figure out, like, did he just go into Grant Cardone mode and then lose it? Or was it a complete disrespect? And that's what, now you're saying, hey, a canned presentation of exactly what we weren't going to talk about. Maybe had a multiple can. Again, just devil's advocate. But if what you're saying and how it laid out is how it went down, that's a dickhead move. I can't take that away. Like, that's what it is. And I think he is also the type of person where if you said that to him, that's a fucking dick move, you can come to common ground and figure it out. Like,
Yeah, and I have said that publicly, and his response is, "Man, let's get on the phone. I'll answer all your real estate questions."
it's not for you.
Yeah. This was for my audience, and you just didn't bring the heat.
Yeah.
Like, it's cool. Like, I respect what you do in the world. It's cool, but you didn't bring the heat when I put you on my stage.
I would be curious if you brought him back out, because 10X was dope. He set the bar for presentation.
He talk about real estate?
He talked about energy. But watch this.
Show me the empire, Grant. Where is the empire?
It was dope. It was dope. I don't think he's fun. I think he keeps his shit real. However, it was sales pitch. But I think now, being on the other side, because again, it's only a second event like this, I think he may feel what the audience maybe felt at your event, where like, where's the real estate stuff? Because he had some speakers where I have friends in the audience who said, why aren't they talking about X, Y, and Z? In other words, sometimes you have to go through the experience to really realize what you did. Sounds like he did it. Hey, the crowd was laughing.
Well,
in his mind, in his mind, the crowd was laughing, they're rocking, they're entertainment. He thinks he did a thing. He thinks you don't know what you're talking about. But I bet you this, after his event, there were some speakers up there. And again, this is all love, but we keep it fucking real. Billie Jean keeps it real. Loved the event. It was good. There were some speakers had no business on stage. I don't give a fuck what they accomplished. Doesn't mean you're a presenter. And I know Grant probably had a conversation with you before about the bringing, and they did not do that. So now maybe you feel what you did to him, and maybe there's some common ground after going through that process. I don't know. Well, just devil's advocate.
I mean, I know he respected what he did because he ripped off a lot of elements from our event, which is totally in marketing. You copy what works.
Yeah.
But
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, he borrowed some things that were working well for us in our events.
Black man versus white man. Coming to you guys, quarter 2 of 2018.
I'm down.
Billie Jean, Ryan Daniel Moran. Because there's no one who does this in the entrepreneur space. Think about that. Go look up First Take. Go look up Skip Bayless, Stephen A. Smith. You watch sports at all? ESPN.
I'm gonna own the Cleveland Indians.
So you know them, right?
Yep.
That's all they do. Shannon Sharp. They bicker on there. New show. Black man versus white man coming to you guys. It's gonna be fucking great, dude. Thank you for coming on.
Comment if you want that, because I will totally.
Are we live?
I have no idea.
Are we live?
I don't.
We're recording.
Where is this going? I don't even know.
We'll put it.
Comment if you want it, and I'll totally come out and do it. Let's do it.
Black man versus white man.
This is fun.
Love it. This is great. And watch this. Here's what I like: is just as much as I hold my opinion stick to him, so does he. That's what made this fucking fun. You got two opinionated guys. Who knows if either one of us are right? We got fucking opinions. So. Black man versus white man. We're out of here. Ryan Daniel Moran. It's been fucking real, guys. Later. Well, that was a hell of an interview.
That happened.
Shit, that was a long 20 minutes.
That happened.
What was the
Holy
conversation?
crap.
Real.
Man,
My goodness.
stay away from abortion.
Well, dude, in this one, we touched on everything.
We talked about abortion in a business interview.
Well, we had to talk about everything.
And dude, I am hammered after 2 glasses of wine. Where are you putting that?
It's a nice little bit. That means you don't drink that much.
I haven't eaten much today. Holy shit, that was great.
Let's fucking go.
Dude, that was great.
That was sick.
If you're serious about doing this quarterly, I will.
Just think, Skip versus fuck. I mean, people love that shit.
can cut this
And bro,
down.
both. Let's just say we both said, hey, I'm gonna put 10 grand in it, you put 10 grand into it. Let's get it all over our space and see what happens.
This would blow up.
You know what I mean?
Where is this? Where
But
will
let's
this?
talk all industry shit. So I'll bring up like Grant Cardone. Let's share that story. And we'll do like a fucking cool out of set for it. We have this whole new studio being built, so let me say.
Where do you air your stuff?
We just have so many pixels because like our videos.
Like, do they go on YouTube? Do they go on a website?
No, we'll run it as that. We'll run it as that.
Okay.
On
So,
Facebook. Or YouTube.
Do you do Facebook? Do you do Facebook Watch at all?
No. Oh, we want to get on top of it.
I feel like that's.
So
What's
would
next?
That would be a
But
good.
then full video lives on your page?
It depends on what it is. Like
Yeah, that was a wild interview.
My goodness. So Billie Jean and I just spent. How long were we in that? Like an hour?
I don't even know.
It was supposed to be a quick 20-minute interview where we talked about business and e-commerce. We ended up talking about Trump, abortion, gun control, Grant Cardone. The only thing we didn't talk about was sex. Billie Jean is this thing that is. What's up, Chris Record? What's up, dude? Hey, man. Good to see you, dude. Good to see you. How's life?
Good. Hanging with Vossler over here. Hanging with Boss.
Hey, what's up, dude?
What's up, Ryan?
Good to see you, man. You're the hardest person in the world to get a hold of. I don't know you, but I feel like I need to hug you.
I do need a hug.
Hi.
Faith.
Hi, Faith. I'm Ryan.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Faith is out of Hong Kong, which is hardcore.
That is
I guess.
hardcore.
That's pretty
I'm out of Austin, Texas, which is
See,
more
so
softcore.
Ohio isn't
So,
a
you know.
hometown anymore?
No, not for like 5 years.